Hey everyone, welcome to For the Record, a celebration of the story behind every beat and every sound. I'm Jeff, the artist manager guy, founder and artist manager from AED Artist Management.
I'm Dan, producer guy and founder of Evoke Sounds.
And together, what we're going to do, we're going to dig into the creative side of things. We're going to bring you some stories, some industry insights, and a little bit of fun. So Dan, to kick things off,
Yeah.
who walked through the Evoke Studio door this week?
Oh, this is a good question. Who walked through our door? We had a new artist, Mary Murphy, recording her very first composition. We had an artist who is returning to the studio, first time in our studio, Mattia Marks, also recording a beautiful set of songs. And we've had a number of other artists who have shown interest in recording here for the first time. So yeah, it's been a busy week here in the studio.
Cool. What sort of genres, what sort of styles are we playing in?
Interesting question. How do I answer that on the spot? Mary Murphy taking a very retro rock sound. Think Fleetwood Mac.
Nice.
It's a much more modern sound,
Yep.
but it's certainly channeling Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks vibes. Mattia Marks. It's I don't know how I would genre capture.
It's always a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, especially with the advent of so many niche sub genres. I get lost here, but
Yeah.
I would call Mattia Marks a storyteller.
Cool. Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
And what about any final mixes, any tracks that are coming out soon that we should know about?
Yeah, but none I'd like to talk about. No, you know why. There's a certain artist whose EP we finished this week, but I'm under a strict NDA and I cannot talk about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let us move on then.
Yes, let's move right on.
All right. So we're going to touch on some of the latest industry buzz, some new tools, trends, what's making waves right now.
Yeah.
As well as throwing our 2 cents in as what's happening. So right now, overseas, I'd start with big news in the record label world is that the majors, Sony, Warner, Universal, have just signed with an AI startup called Klay, spelled with a K, Klay.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Now I know how to spell it.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the reason I bring this up. It's a big deal because they're the first AI startup company that's secured agreements with the majors.
Yeah.
What they're aiming to do is to create these immersive and interactive music experiences by using a large-scale AI model.
Yeah.
As you know, AI is obviously the buzzword that's happening in the industry and I guess across the world. But in this case, they're training entirely on licensed music. So they're having agreements in place with the artists, making sure that the artists, songwriters are all getting protected. And they want to, everyone says, that AI is such a powerful tool, but what they're looking to do is to use AI to enhance the creativity, give fans new ways to enjoy music rather than a tool that just creates, what I would call and you would call, this AI slop that comes out.
Yeah.
It's quite an exciting advent.
Few questions. I don't know, you may or may not have sort of dug deep enough yet. The first one is that, are the artists able to consent on an artist by artist basis, or are, for example, Warner enrolling their entire back catalog into it?
It's very early days yet, but my understanding is that the artists who are signed with the majors will have the ability to opt in to using the service.
So it's an opt-in.
It's not just going to be a blanket, I'm with Sony and you can use my music and pay me for what you need. But yeah, it's really early days, and I think that the biggest thing that can come out of it is just a revenue stream and a way of compensating artists for using their music in AI generated activities, I'm going to call it.
Yeah, and something else that we've discussed a bit and touched on the last few weeks is what is the effect of the new AI artist protections that have been passed into law in Australia, and how does that sort of restrict or limit the say ability of this new platform to basically rip off?
No, it's a good question. I thought
Australian artists.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good question, and I thought you might bring this one up. Again, I would say it's very early days for that. It just got passed this week.
Yeah,
and there's still a lot of people who are unsure of what impact it's going to have on the Australian industry and the Australian music industry, of course. But I think that any time that there is a agreed partnership between a tool like this and major labels, that the major labels have to abide by the other sub laws of the particular countries that they operate in.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to assume at this stage that that'll all be taken into account, and any of the restrictions around using people's identity and IP and everything else will roll into line with that.
I suppose it's way better than a Wild West where AI is just training unmoderated on artists to release music.
Well,
right?
that's it. Every week there was another story that came out this week about a band in the States who, had a track released on their Spotify page, branded as them. Wasn't them. Totally AI generated.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's a real problem. And the more checks and balances and restrictions that can be put into place for this is going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I had a story this week, actually, an artist in the psychedelic trance genre had the same thing happen, an entire album of AI-generated music, unauthorized, even with an AI-generated story in his tone of voice that went along the lines of, I knew that, I suspected that AI was inconsequential, but once I pressed the generate button, I understood that it was meant to be.
Wow.
The entire thing was a fake.
Yeah. It's
the
wild.
Artist woke up one morning and they had a new album on their Spotify or all their streaming platforms.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have the pleasure of listening to, a lot of new music and a lot of artists who want to work with us in our respective roles. Yeah. And I can't tell you the countless amount of times that people have sent me music and you just know that the majority of it has been driven by AI and not in a positive manner. And so, look, it's something that we're going to have to deal with, and I hope that putting that this is a step in the right direction, and it remains to be seen how it plays out.
It will get to a point where it's producing very sophisticated music. Obviously, and comparable to people. I mean, AI has to only create based on what it's learned, right? So its power of invention is limited. The other thing is AI can't perform live. There are a number of other not safe for podcast comparisons I've heard, but I'll limit it to those two.
Great points.
I think that artistry, at least in music, doesn't feel threatened by AI. Suddenly, there are limited capacity roles within music that AI will present a challenge for.
All right, let's talk about something that's just dropped in the Aussie music scene. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Live Nation announced 2 weeks ago a game-changing initiative across Australia and New Zealand called Next On. So what this is, it's a brand new initiative for emerging artists. And look, honestly, it could be a game changer. The idea behind it is to give up-and-coming artists access to world-class venues around Australia and New Zealand. So we're talking the Palais in Melbourne, the Triffid in Brisbane, Hindley Street in Adelaide, and the Tuning Fork over in Auckland. And the real kicker about this is that the artists themselves get 100% of the ticket sales, the merch, no venue hire, no production hire, no marketing fees. Live Nation's really giving a huge push behind it. Yep. It's a really fantastic initiative. It's for artists that have been performing for 3 years or less.
Yeah.
So again, often with these things, you hear these great initiatives and you're like, the artists that we work with, like apply, push yourself to do this.
Yeah.
And then you see, an artist that I would consider already a fairly established name get the opportunity, which is great for them. But then it's just really hard for that real emerging artist to come through and get that opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's really great. I think also, Live Nation's been on the tip of a lot of people's tongues in the music industry for some of the wrong reasons, particularly people concerned that they're monopolizing live music. A lot of the naysayers are like, tear down Live Nation, break it up, they're pariahs. Kind of like anarchy, tearing down the system might not necessarily be the best way forward. And I think that it's a really positive step we'd spoken to Michelle, the head of marketing at Live Nation Australia. It's a really positive initiative to see Live Nation turn their focus to how can they get more involved in the emerging scene, in the aspiring scene. and give artists access to things that they've never had access to by leveraging Live Nation's incredible reach and market power and access to marketing and budgets that smaller promoters just don't have. So I think this repurposing and a refocusing of Live Nation's marketing activities is a really positive thing and is a really good way that Live Nation is sort of contributing back to
Absolutely.
artists. I'll take this opportunity as well to say this is not a paid sponsorship.
It is not.
I actually mean what I say.
It's pretty much going to the artist here, take the keys and build your audience and build your thing. And so 2 weeks ago we had the honor of being, as you touched on, in the Live Nation offices, I guess in their
Ones to Watch.
in their showroom for another event called Ones to Watch, which was a fantastic event that Live Nation had put on there, and I hope that they put on more events in that space. Had some great pizza on offer, but even better than the pizza were the acts. So this particular event was driven by Eliza Hull.
Yeah. Disability advocate and artist.
Yeah. And what did you think of the whole event?
I thought it was great. I thought, again, to that notion of lending support to artists who are doing it tough. Arguably, no one's doing it tougher than artists who are living with disabilities. And apart from the fact that, first of all, these are great artists in their own right, because of their disabilities, it limits their ability to particularly perform live. And apart from being an access-friendly venue, there are a number of small touches that you could see that really thought about and consulted with Eliza, I imagine, about the kind of things that do make these experiences more manageable for artists with disabilities. From having ramps up to the stage, to having, sensory relaxation zones.
The sound of the event was at a lower sound than what you'd experienced.
True. And I think, more than even assisting those artists on the day and in the venue, which obviously it did, it created for the people in the room a great awareness of this challenge. And it's something that, I went back to my team meeting the next few days after, and we decided we're putting ramps in to allow better access to our lounge room sessions gigs here. We talked to one of the artists who participated in the event is one of our staff here, Remedy, our in-house vocal coach.
Great performer.
Yeah,
great performer,
absolutely. I mean, all the performers were amazing, but it was really nice having that debrief with Rem and sort of running the ideas past her. And I could tell from her response that she's really heartened by the fact that it had that effect on me, that it got me thinking about things that I have to say, honestly, I was ignorant to in the past. And so I think, props, again, Live Nation, but especially Eliza Hull, to really, put the whole thing together, to focus on all those small details. And not just put them there, but explain them to the audience. Why, what, how it improves the experience for people living with disabilities. So I think also they, again, to Eliza's credit, had a really good representation of different types of disabilities. And talking with each act about how their disability has impacted their performing, their writing, and their day-to-day lives. So, there was another fantastic act that we've had here at Lounge Room Sessions just last month, Matilda Ann. And even just hearing her story in that context, I wasn't aware of it. So it was a real eye-opening experience. Like you said, I also really, really hope to see more events like that. Not because of anything other than raising awareness. These kind of sort of I suppose things that made this event special, that were focused towards facilitating or accommodating people with disabilities, shouldn't be special things.
No,
it should be the standard.
Yeah.
And we're still a long way away from that. So,
and as you said, even that something as simple as just the ramp up to the stage. So I made the comment to Michelle when we caught up after the show, this is an awesome space. Do you do a lot of this? Do you do a lot of events here? And she's gone, no, I mean, we don't do a lot because there is a fair bit of work to put that on, because they get the stage done, and they had all the accessibility options. They did a fantastic job on the sound for that night. And so I think, look, they said that they're going to do more. So watch out for Live Nation for any more,
for all the good reasons this time.
For all the good reasons, and any more events that they put on there, because look, it looks like it's going in the right direction, I would say.
And knowing two of the artists who did perform there quite well, these are artists that really benefited from the experience. They're both very experienced artists, but I don't know that either of them had been involved in events that cater to people with disabilities. So that's all I have to say on that.
Awesome. So talking about events, tell me what's coming up. I believe you've got another lounge room sessions coming up.
Yeah.
And I believe that it might be, is it number 10?
No, well, this is number 10. Yeah. Yes, you're right. I'm already booking number 11 in my head.
And 12 and 13, right?
Obviously, yeah. We have our monthly house concert. When I say house concert, Evoke Sounds is based in a residence, very large residence with four recording studios. But what we do is once a month, we convert the living room space, the lounge room space, I should say, into a live performance space. And we have 3 artists who come and perform acoustic sets of 20 minutes each, which we record, and it's on our YouTube for you to view. So we have one happening on the 13th of December. There's a few tickets still left.
Who's playing?
Who is playing? We have the amazing Araminta, who I've followed for a long time. Her partner actually played at the last one, Jimmy Harwood.
There you go.
And he played something very special. He played a set of his new songs. But back to this month, Araminta. We have an artist, Ed Moon. They are going to also be performing here for the first time. I'm not as familiar with Ed Moon's stuff, so that's a different type of exciting for me. And lastly, we have Jay Jerome, who is a neo-soul R&B artist. I believe he's originally from Southeast Queensland, now living in Melbourne. And the 3 of them will be performing. Of course, after is our famous after party and ultimate jam.
I've seen some videos, and I hope to be part of the next one.
Yeah, so I've bought you a kazoo especially for
Appreciate it. Very kind.
And if you want to see what our ultimate jam is about, I suggest you jump on our YouTube as well. But the gist of it is we bring a bunch of instruments down to the lounge room, we clear the stage, and the audience has a jam, which one of our team members leads. And it's something very special. It goes till the very, very late hours. And the other event on our radar, which is more a watch this space, early next year, we're kicking off a second monthly event, listening sessions. I'm going to leave an air of mystery, so that's all I'll say.
Very good. Did want to ask you, so as an artist manager, apart from all the trials and tribulations that come with releasing music and getting artists to do their cover art and all the little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I would actually say the hardest thing is getting artists to perform and getting them regular performances or even semi-regular performances. What I'm interested in understanding is, how do you go about finding the artists for lounge room sessions and giving them that opportunity to perform in I'd say an intimate setting, but we're talking about 40, 50 people at each
Even more, I have to admit.
People come to you, recommendations, a bit of both?
It's a bit of both is the short answer, but the criteria, I guess, on which I select artists is, number one, it's got to resonate with me. You could say I kind of program the show for myself.
So you're listening to music
I'm listening
being performed that you otherwise would want to hear on a Saturday night.
Correct. Okay. And these are all artists who are, well, not all of them are based in Melbourne, but maybe based in Melbourne, maybe passing through Melbourne. There's even an occasion where we brought an artist down from Queensland. But I suppose we want them to be aspiring artists. Typically, that means artists who are at the beginning of their career, young artists. but it's not always. Sometimes it's artists who've left their craft for a while and come back to it. Sometimes it's artists who are just making a new push in a new direction. And the aim is to provide them a platform through which to be heard, to be seen, to provide them with a super high quality acoustic recording of their music. And I suppose overall, and less specific to the artists, we're trying to create a community. And I know it sounds a bit wanky, but also to create a movement, which is a positive industry movement, one which is placing the needs of the artists first, which is, sympathetic to their needs and their challenges. And this is sort of the ideal space for us to do it. Plus, it's an open house. So, all the studios are open for people to see, for them to ask us questions directly. It's been a great avenue for us to find new artists to work with and for artists to find us as a studio to work with.
Oh, I love it. I love it. No, it's been some great artists that have come through, and there'll be many more. I'm excited for the next sessions that I can actually make this time.
Yes.
So should be a good one. Just wanted to close by talking about some music that's coming out that we both of us have had a hand in with these artists in varying capacities.
Yeah.
So firstly, Sasha Miller, we released 2 tracks last week. These are actually from the 2 tracks that were released are Walls and Mask.
Yeah.
These are actually 2 tracks that were done quite a few years ago when Sasha was developing a sound, working on her craft. It's a very familiar story in a way to quite a few artists that I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with, where they work on these tracks, you hear them, they're beautiful tracks.
Yeah.
Why haven't you released them? Lack of motivation or life circumstances, or they just didn't have the right people in their corner to help them, get it across the line.
Yeah.
So that was the case with those 2 tracks. So it's been a real pleasure to work with Sasha on getting those out, as well as Get Mine, which came out about a month ago.
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind obviously getting these tracks out is building a bit of momentum for Sasha, because she's got some exciting music coming out that has been produced in the Evoke Studios here.
Correct.
Next year.
Correct. Yeah, that's a really exciting project that we worked on. It's a 3-track EP. It's a new sound. It's a bit of
what would you call
a
it?
sampler of different new sounds, all within the soul space.
Right.
I suppose there's one track that could be categorized as neo soul. There's one which...
There's a lot of things that fit in that neo soul category these
I'm
days.
deliberately broad.
Yeah.
There is a sort of bluesy acoustic one take. I don't want to say too much more. The third one, I'm loath even to ruin the surprise for people, so I'm going to just leave it as a surprise. But it's something unlike she's ever done before.
Wow. Okay. Leave that as a surprise. Surprises are good. That's awesome. That's awesome. The other artist that I'm working with that has also come through the studio here, not to record, but done some more live recordings down in the studio downstairs, is SHIRA.
Yep.
So SHIRA's next track, it's the 3rd of 4 tracks that she's dropping before her EP comes out next year. She's another one that's been great to work with, just really well prepared on the content side of things. So that's really the hardest part of getting your music out there often isn't making the music itself. It's what comes after that.
Sadly, it's not all about the music.
I wish it was all about the music, but often it's just about being prepared, and it's not needing to put things up on social media every 5 seconds. It's just about working with an artist manager, working with a team, someone who's just going to help guide the next steps in terms of what happens, and then just being prepared to have that content.
And create a strategy that has a common thread through it. I mean, SHIRA, apart from being an amazing performer and recording artist, she's performed here at Lounge Room Sessions,
also
as well as our joint events. She's super organized and she's a super hard worker. And this is a major, I can't overstate it. It is such a competitive advantage to most artists. Just that ability to keep one's shit together and to keep chugging along and keep looking over the horizon at the next thing.
Yep.
If I can give one tip to artists commercially, is to do those things, is to do what Shira does.
Yeah.
It's like we should have that as a slogan internally.
And look, yeah, just be prepared and have your content ready.
Yeah.
Have your ideas ready. Have your plan ready, because then you can get as many people as you want in your corner that are going to help you out if you're ready. If you're not ready, it makes it really challenging and really hard to do.
Well, this is the thing. I'd simplify it even further and say professionals like to work with professionals.
This is very true.
Don't expect a professional to want to work with you if you're unprofessional. Unprofessional doesn't mean, inexperienced. It means unprofessional means not organized. If you're waiting till a milestone date to get that milestone organized, you're disorganized, right?
100%.
This is why I said looking beyond the horizon, always being a few steps ahead of what's currently needing to be executed.
Yep.
And if you guys out there want to see a really good, example of that execution, look at what Shira's doing. I think it's really great you brought her up, because it encapsulates a lot of the messaging that we are giving behind the scenes to artists about how to get their music to perform for them.
Yep, 100%.
Speaking of Shira, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome her into the studio today. Shira, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, Jeff.
It's lovely to have you here. Tell us a bit about yourself and your music.
Okay, hi, I'm Shira. I'm a singer-songwriter born in New York, raised in Bondi, now living in Melbourne. Music is my first love. I came out of the womb writing, or so I like to say. My music is a blend of soul, R&B with pop hooks, lots of lush harmonies, and I love to write. I consider myself, equally singer, songwriter.
Awesome. And it's a very special day today. It's release day.
It's release day, everybody.
Happy release day.
Thank you so much.
Always a great accomplishment for any artist to get to that point of release day, and a lot of fun as an artist manager to be able to support artists doing that. We're going to come back to the release in a little bit.
Cool.
First, want to hear about 2025. A few highlights for Shira.
Oh my gosh. 2025 has been a huge year on a personal level and a professional level. We signed Feb, I think, this year.
Yep.
And it's been a huge year because I've released what today is my 5th single.
Yeah, amazing. Whoa.
Since March. Thank you.
Whoa.
So big year. Like, life has been lifing, people.
Let me just ask you, the singles, just Shira singles? I think there were a few collabs there.
Oh yeah, more than 5 singles actually, because I also featured. Yeah, so I released 5 singles, and then I also featured on Arab's single Too True. So 6 tracks released this year.
Awesome.
Lots of learning, lots of growth, lots of healing, all the things. It's been a big year.
What about performance-wise? A few highlights on there. You get some live performances in? I think I might have seen you a couple of times.
You think? Yeah, no, I did. I got some live performances in. I got to be like support acting. I got to do some really cool headline shows, especially around some of the releases. The Melbourne music community has really embraced me, and
That's awesome.
It's been such a pleasure and a privilege, and yeah, some big highlights, because I love performing, and I talk about this a lot, but it's a very different energy in the studio and writing versus the performance hat. They're 2 different energies, and I love them both equally. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Or differently. I love them differently. They're like children, I guess.
They bring different elements to life.
They really do,
and to your musical journey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's 2025.
That's 25.
2026. What's happening? You did 5 releases. You did some collabs. Are you looking to increase that number in 2026? What's on the horizon, music wise, performance wise, everything else in the life of Shira?
Yeah. Again, so much. It's a continuation of 2025. We're expanding, we're growing. We have another single coming out, which is the 4th single from the EP that's then dropping. So single coming out called Valentine, near Valentine's Day. It's coming out 11th of
Nice.
Feb, everybody, 2026. And then we have the EP dropping in March 2026. In the meantime, there's some new collaborations in the pipeline, some life material to be writing on.
Wow, nice.
So, yeah, maybe some travel in the mix, maybe some, maybe like a SHIRA show in the mix. There's a few things we're working on.
I love it. I love it. You just touched on one thing I was just going to ask as well. Inspirations and where your music fits. Dan and I spoke earlier about genres, and it's one of the hardest things for me working with artists and trying to find their lane in terms of their genre, because I don't like pigeonholing artists into a particular genre. They often don't like to run themselves in a particular genre and like to do a number of different styles, but there is always a need to, particularly when you're pitching music, particularly when you're trying to, place your music for particular audiences into genres. And so you mentioned, soul, you mentioned R&B. There's definitely pop elements to what you have going on. Where do you see yourself fitting in that sphere, and who do you draw as an artist? What other artists do you draw most inspiration from?
I mean, from the very beginning, I was like a huge fan of Mariah.
I feel a lot of Mariah. Sorry to interrupt you, but I feel a lot of Mariah vibes on that
Do
came out today. A
you?
lot of Mariah vibes.
Do you?
I
That's
do.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a real compliment. I mean, I admired her not just for her vocal ability, which is insane, but as a writer. And also she really has roots in like gospel melodies and soul. And so I'm really drawn to gospel music and soulful music. I was a huge fan of Lauryn Hill. It's probably the first album I studied from front to back. Again, not just as a lyricist, an MC, a vocalist, but an incredible writer. And again, I think there's roots there in gospel. So something about I really am drawn to that gospel music. Like these days, I love listening to PJ Morton. I love Snow Allegra. I'm definitely in that R&B soul genre, but definitely, as you say, with pop elements. There are hooks that you can grab onto.
Yep. There's little earworms that just get
Yeah,
stuck in
ear
your head that you just
candy.
go, ear candy. I
Yeah.
like that one, ear candy.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yogi came. Shout out to Yogi,
Yeah.
my producer,
Yep.
on on all the tracks from the EP project that's coming out called "Love's Not Meant to Hurt." That was a term that he coined, or maybe he got it from somewhere else, but I think he coined it. Ear candy.
I like it. Next time I go to pitch a track, I'm going to look for a genre of ear candy, and that's where it's going to go.
100.
All right. On to the track that came out today. Yeah. So it's a cover of Usher's track. Yeah.
No,
No,
accident.
obviously it's not. Tell me about Tell me about the track, who you worked with on it, when you worked on it. I understand it was quite a few years in the making, as of all these tracks been. But tell me a bit about
Okay. I mean, is giving like let's dance and get naked vibes after like not being sexual for a hot minute because you've been healing from a breakup.
Okay.
That's the inspo for It's that rush when you're with
So
someone.
that's how you pitch the track. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's that rush when you're like the feeling that I encapsulated literally came the day after a one night stand, which actually was no longer a one night stand, but we don't have to go into that. But it was the feeling that I had after like being with someone after a period of not doing that, not being out there for a hot minute. And I was just really inspired and excited. It's not actually a perspective I've written about. And it felt sexy, but also raw and honest, and it's uplifting. It's actually really uplifting. There's something very liberating about it, something very liberating about writing about that. And so it then transcended into the music that we made. I came with the concept to the studio, as I said, to Yogi from Random Soul, who's based in Sydney. Incredible songwriter, incredible producer. I co-produced the track. We created the beat together from scratch. Every element we did together. I was in the studio for hours. We did all the editing together, like every single bit of it. But Yogi, I learned so much from. He really mentored me. I developed as an artist through that process. And yeah, we were working on that back in October 22.
Wow.
So this is like 3 years in the making. We obviously had COVID as a situation that was still unfolding and causing delays and setbacks. There was quite a process, but I trust in divine timing. It feels like the right time to be releasing it into the world and sharing it with everybody.
Beautiful. Tell me, just on Yogi, how did you guys come to be working with one another? And obviously you were living in Sydney at the time.
I was.
But yeah, how did you come to working with Yogi? Because he's from a different, we're talking genres. He operates more in the dance space, doesn't he?
He does,
and house space. And
he does, but he loves soul R&B, and he was always wanting to work on a soul R&B project, but hadn't come across one that lit him up just yet. But this is a cool story, and particularly for artists who get the word no a lot. This is a very cool story. Okay, how this came to be. A mutual friend who loves my music, who's a friend and adores me, sent him a voice note. So he was coming from the lens of, I love Shira, I love her music, but wasn't really thinking this is like the best thing to send. He sent a voice note of something I'd written, and Yogi was like, I don't really vibe with this. But out of his respect to our mutual friend Jason, shout out to Jason, thank you for the intro, love you for that. Yogi decided to just contact me and be polite and was like, thank you so much. I'm kind of full at the moment, but if I think of someone that I can introduce you to, I will. And I was like, no worries at all. So naive, didn't take that as a no, that I sent him. I was like, look, Jason just sent you something that he fell in love with, but if you're going to intro me, please use something current. And I forwarded him Never Had You, which ended up being the second release on this EP. It's out there if you want to stream it everywhere, people. And anyway, he called me and was like, I'm so sorry, I have to backtrack. The truth is I didn't vibe with the voice note, but this song I have to work on.
That's amazing. I love
and
that.
So first of all, my response to him was, whoa, thank you for the honesty. That's so refreshing. I love that. And also, I'm glad you love Never Had You, because this is the actual song I want to work on, not what Jason had sent. So a couple of lessons out of that for any artist listening is, make sure if someone's pitching your stuff that it's how you want to represent yourself as an artist, even though this all kind of worked out and it came from a place of love, which is amazing. But yeah, present how you want to be presented as an artist, and don't take no for an answer.
I love that.
2 bite-sized takeaways.
So we're going to put links to all of Shira's music in the show notes. We're going to put a link to Yeah, which came out today. Wish you all the best with your release. It's been a lot of fun working with you this year. Can't wait to see what 2026 brings.
Big shout out to Jeff, because you have so much belief in me and you've been so pivotal to this whole rollout. And I'm really, really grateful for you. And it's very special to be having a potty interview on release day.
Woo!
Happy release day. Go stream Yeah. You will not, it will take you from dance vibes to bedroom vibes, and you will not be disappointed, I promise.
Great way to finish. We'll leave it there. We're going to pop links to everything we've spoken about in the show notes. Hope you've enjoyed what we've been talking about here, and we'll catch you next time on For the Record.